kicked off. We have a lot in store today. In fact, this is a very, very, very special webinar that we have for you today. I have a special guest I'm going to bring on here in a couple minutes. Really excited to bring this special guest on, and I'll bring him on here in a second. But let's make sure that everybody understands the risks involved and associated with trading and investing. Please be aware of those risks, willing to accept them. Also, please understand I am not a commodity trading advisor. Really what that means is I'm not here to give you advice or trade for you. I'm not here to do it for you. I'm here to teach, show, guide, educate. I'm here to help you in every way that I possibly can to continue on the journey and eventually reach the end, the finish line of becoming truly financially free. Now, there's some asset classes and instruments that, one second here. There's some asset classes and instruments that we need to take advantage of to be able to truly be able to become that financially free like we need to be, right? But let me just ask a quick question before we get started, before I introduce myself. How many of you have heard of cryptocurrencies? How many of you have heard of cryptocurrencies? Is Shondell's the only one? No, here we go. All right. So here's the deal. This is a buzzword that's kind of taken the financial world by storm. And what we need to do, what you need to do, is we need to come to a conclusion on what does this mean? What does it mean for you? And what does it potentially mean for your future, right? If anything, maybe nothing, right? But what we can't do is we can't sit back and watch something go from $700 at a low point to $9,700 in less than 10 months and sit back and say, oh, I don't need to pay attention to it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the price of Bitcoin and how it's exploded in price. We can't watch something literally over the weekend from Friday go from $8,100 up to $9,700 and sit back and think, oh, I'm just going to ignore it. We've got to pay attention, because if it's moving and if it's going to continue to move, and Peter Cook just typed in, is it a bubble? Here's the deal. If it is a bubble, then how much money is there potentially going to be made on the burst of the bubble? Let me ask you, do you believe that there was a lot of people that were in the know that in the dot-com bubble of 2000, 2001, do you think there's a lot of money to be made by taking advantage of that bubble bursting? Or in the financial collapse of 2008, 2009, I personally know a couple of gentlemen that understood what was going on, forecasted this, and made an absolute life-changing amount of money by buying puts and trading options in banks during 2008, 2009. So what comes up must come down, right? So if this is a fad that's going to blow up, well, eventually it will go down, and that means that the volatility is going to be awesome. There's still going to be a tremendous amount of money to be made on the downside. So regardless of whether this thing is going to keep skyrocketing up and up and up and up and up, or if it's going to come down and down and down, it doesn't matter. We need to take advantage of that. Type in a wire yes if you agree. Either way, here's the reality of it. Either way, there's not a better market out there that's moving more than the cryptocurrency markets. Cryptocurrencies essentially are moving anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20% a day. And you guys all know this as currency traders, as students. And maybe you're brand new, maybe you don't know this, but for us to make money, here's the deal. For us to make money in this business, we need movement. We have to have the markets move. If the markets don't move, we won't make money. And so the way that we make the most amount of money is with the markets moving. And so from my standpoint, we need to find the asset classes that are moving the most. And one of the asset classes right now, in fact, from my standpoint, probably for the foreseeable future, one of the things that's going to move the most is going to be cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other currencies, which is going to be awesome. Now, I want to introduce myself real fast. My name is Tyson Clayton. I am Market Trader Institute's product expert and Forex mastermind. I am extremely honored to be here and with this amazing company, Market Traders Institute, for a few reasons. One, there's actually two core reasons why I'm here. One of the reasons is selfish. I'm here because I get to be around some of the greatest minds in the world. I get to be around some of the greatest currency traders and investors I've ever met. I've been in this business for 18 years, and I've been around some amazing traders, but traders such as Gary Thickhart and Chris Pulver, Joshua Martinez, Jared Martinez, these are some of my trading idols. I also get access to all the tools, which is huge. But another thing that makes me excited about being at this company at this time is that we believe we are the world leaders in financial education. The financial education in our world doesn't just end at currency trading. It doesn't just end at trading the euro versus the dollar, dollar versus the yen. It doesn't end there. In fact, being the world leaders in financial education permeates throughout in the entire world of finance. Stocks and options, potentially real estate. Now, the most exciting asset class that we could talk about, cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies are moving and have volatility like no other asset class in the world. And so that makes me very excited to be here, is because we are constantly evolving, constantly coming up with new ideas, new ways for our students to be able to generate income, new ways for our students to be able to become financially free. And another thing that makes me excited is that this company is willing to recruit some of the best. I'm going to use myself as an example. I sold a company in mid-2015 that I had I didn't have any idea I was going to sell it. I received an offer I couldn't refuse, and I sold it. And I knew that I had to do something. I was getting recruited from all sorts of different companies. And in mid-2015, I actually heard about Chris Pulver and got a hold of the chief and essentially formed a relationship with Market Traders Institute. And what I realized, and the reason why I've decided to come on board and be a subcontractor and represent Market Traders Institute, is because they understand the value of bringing on other experts. They understood, they valued the education, the knowledge, the foundation that I already had. They didn't say, Tyson, you need to come in and be exactly like me, exactly like the chief. You need to be exactly like Josh or exactly like Chris or Gary. They said, Tyson, you be you, because what you're going to be able to add and what the value you're going to be able to bring is huge to our students. It's going to resonate with a lot of students. And so they valued the additional expertise that I brought, which was huge, Because I've traded in stocks and options and futures and Forex, and I've traded in all sorts of things. And most recently, I started getting very heavily involved in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. But let me just be real clear on something. I want to be very, very, very clear on something. I am an expert currency, stock, and options trader. I've traded futures. I still trade futures, and I would consider myself an expert in that arena also. I am not an expert cryptocurrency trader yet. I am on my way to becoming an expert cryptocurrency trader. I know a lot about cryptos. I have a good chunk of my own personal wealth tied up in cryptos, but I am not. What I want to do is I want to learn from the best. Type in a wire yes in the question section if you agree that if you're going to learn how to trade cryptocurrencies, and if you're going to learn how to trade anything, right? You want to learn from the best, right? Because a lot of what we do in currencies, a lot of what we do in the markets, they apply to other markets, right? The Fibonacci's, markets move in waves. We all know that. But there's ins and outs, and there's little fundamental information and foundational information about the cryptocurrencies that if I don't understand, then one, I'm either going to leave money on the table, or two, I'm going to probably cost myself money, and I don't want that. It's too important. And so what we did as a company is we've been hyper-focused on currencies and hyper-focused on staying within our lane. And we have some product or asset experts around this building, and I do have a fairly high level knowledge of cryptocurrencies, but I would not consider myself an expert. So what we did is we said we've got to partner with the experts. We've got to partner with the world-renowned experts that have already become the experts that know all of this, so we can then take that to our students, because this is going to revolutionize this entire business. Our students, we hear about students that are making a tremendous amount of money, traders that are making a tremendous amount of money with things such as cryptocurrencies and Bitcoins. And so what we've decided to do, what the executives decided to do, instead of taking the next year and a half, 2 years to create more experts like myself, and like other traders around in this building, instead of building a course around our expertise and taking the next year and a half, 2 years of building the expertise and then launching a course in the next year and a half, what we decided to do is we decided to find the experts and partner with the experts. It's almost like if you wanted to get into real estate, whether you like the guy or not, let's say you wanted to get into commercial real estate. Well, instead of launching a commercial real estate course or a commercial real estate division, what if you could partner with Donald Trump? And again, I don't want to get political, but what if you could partner with Donald Trump? That'd probably help you out along the way, and it'd probably be better than you trying to recreate the wheel yourself. So that's what we've done. That's what we've done. And I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to go through today. Again, we're going to go through cryptocurrencies. We have a guest on. I'm going to introduce him here in a minute. He's going to tell you why cryptocurrencies are important, his history in cryptocurrencies, his history throughout the entire world of finances, his past and present, what it means for you today, what it means for you in the future. And his name, my friends, he is the cryptocurrency expert, not just a cryptocurrency trading expert, but he's a world-renowned trading expert throughout the entire world. His name is Kunal Desai. And Kunal is an expert that's been trading for over 19 years. He's got a huge following. In fact, let me just throw a little knowledge and a little stats at you. I have YouTube videos out there, different strategies, different things I've done. My YouTube views, whenever I can get views of 4,000 or 5,000 hits and 4,000 or 5,000 views, I feel pretty good about myself. Hey, people are watching, they're paying attention. Well, let me just tell you, Kunal has videos out there that have over 1 million views. 1 million views in videos he's created. It's absolutely amazing. He's helped train thousands of investors. He's made thousands of investments in himself in all sorts of asset classes. And he's a full-time trader. He's the creator and developer of many successful trading strategies that have been used around the world by thousands and thousands of the students. He is the industry expert, not just, again, in cryptos, not just, again, in stock, but really worldwide. He's been a keynote speaker in numerous trading and investing summits, galas, podcasts. Been featured in the Huffington Post, Bro Bible, and Inc.com. And most importantly, he is the foundational creator and mastermind behind the brand new Market Trader Institute Ultimate Cryptocurrency course. He's the mastermind behind it. He is the Jared Martinez of the Ultimate Traders package he is that. He is the mastermind, the creator, the founder of the Ultimate Cryptocurrency course, and I am absolutely elated to have somebody of his caliber now a part of our team. I'm so elated to have him representing our company and launching this cryptocurrency course with our phenomenal company and allowing our students to ride this wave that I believe is just on the infancy of transforming the ways that you and I trade every single day. So how many of you, type in a wire yes, if you are excited to hear this world-renowned, amazing trader, Kunal, come on board, talk, tell you his experience in cryptos, show you some of his trades, show you what you can get excited about, because here's what I want to tell you guys. I'm just going to say this real fast. This, my friends, is so important. I am telling you right now, there is not a forecast of Bitcoin prices long-term that I've disagreed with, not one. And I'm sure you guys have heard some crazy numbers, crazy stats, or crazy projections out there. Oh, Bitcoin can go to 100,000. Bitcoin can go to 500,000. Bitcoin can go to 1 million. Haha, that's so funny. No, guess what? I'm on board. I'm on board with it. There's not a number out there that I disagree with. So this is so vitally important. I'm so excited. Hey, I want to bring on, let me unmute him. I want to make sure, hey, Kunal, can you hear me? And just want to do a quick sound check, and then I'm going to pass over the controls to you and off to the races, my friend.
Loud and clear, brother.
Awesome. I'm going to pass the share it here. I'm going to make you presenter.
Yes, I'm in.
Awesome. If you can go ahead and hit, I believe, share my screen, and then just verify that everybody can see your screen, we'll be off to the races. Awesome. There it is. There's Facebook. Perfect. Hey, Kunal. Awesome.
Guys. Awesome. Welcome. First of all, Tyson, thank you for the warm introduction. It is seriously an honor to be here. When you start trading as a youngster and you go through all those just ups and downs of being a trader, you never think that, other companies would actually come and want to partner with you to take your passion out to the masses. When I was getting started trading, I just wanted to stop losing. That's all I really wanted to do. I just wanted to figure out how to make $1. And it's so amazing once you get some technique going and some repetitions, what can really come from this career, which has given me really so much in terms of just joy of being able to work every day doing something I love, but then also, being able to, my business, I work with all these goofballs you see here. These are my childhood best friends, my brothers. We've known each other since we're 8 years old, and being able to travel the world to hang out with my bros has been just an amazing adventure. So I won't bore you too much with my background. I know how it goes when you get into these webinars. You want to learn something, and then somebody just goes, this is my resume, here you go. But I'll give you a little background, and then we're going to dive right into the trading. I'm going to teach you a strategy that I use right now to go out and actually make money in cryptocurrencies. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think this is so important when you guys get into this. I think it's something you have to add to your tool belt. For me, I have been a trader since I was coming into college. Now, I wasn't any good in college. I took the path that probably a lot of you guys go down, which is you see something, or so I got involved in the dot-com age. And, I had this neighbor, and my neighbor, living in Michigan, my neighbor is a huge jerk. Like, I was like, and he drove this BMW and had like this Yahoo license plate on it. And I'm like, man, Bob's a jerk. Like, how did he get a BMW? And what's this Yahoo thing? And so I got so involved in trying to figure out what people were doing to make money, because I was in college now and I had more free time. And, well, frankly, I didn't want to work a 9-to-5 either. And so I started trading tech stocks, and I started trading right when the bubble popped. And it was like my dreams of being like Bob died. And from there, though, I learned a lot of hard lessons, and I kept trying and failing and trying and failing for years while I was in college, and then even after college. And only when I got myself, a mentor, my mentor Paul came to me when I was, about 3 or 4 years into this game of struggle. He came and taught me a few things. I started building on it, and I became a professional trader full-time in my mid-20s, opened my website in 2008, and I've just been rolling since then. It's been an amazing run. But it's amazing because I have only traded stocks my whole life. I was so against futures and Forex and everything because I learned stocks, right? And when you think about stocks, you think you're in the best. Just like if you were trading Forex, you're trading that because you think it's the best. And I was just in stocks, and that was my world, equities, Google, Facebook, everything. And one of the things you guys hear about right now is what? We're in this massive bull market. Well, the problem with a big bull market is what? As the market goes up every day, volatility gets really small. And so the market goes up, it just grinds higher. Right now, the mantra in the stock rose, 50 points a day. Hey, what's the market going to do today? Probably run around 50 points. It just goes up a little bit every day. There's no volatility. There's no downside. If market dips, you just have to buy it. You just close your nose and buy it. Well, as a professional day trader, that's an easy market to trade because it's just kind of going up, but it doesn't give you those swings that you need to really make the big money, the type of money and the type of swings that I was seeing in 2007 and 2008 and 2009 and 2010 and 2005, all those years where I was, getting 10, 15% moves intraday. Now I'm not getting any of them. And so I sat there and I'm like, well, that's just the phase of the market. And you know how markets go, and bubbles can even go. They can go on for 3-4 years longer than you ever think. So I'm sitting there and just minding my own business trading, and one of my students actually approaches me, David Gamble. He lives in Tampa. And David says, Kunal, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? And I vaguely remember David because when I went to Tampa, we hung out for a couple times. We had a steak dinner. He's a young kid, 23 years old, and he was finishing up school. He said, I've got something to show you. And he sends me this video of his parents. He's from Jamaica, and his parents just crying, and his brother and sister crying. And I'm like, what is this? Like, is this a religious thing going on? Like, everybody's very hysterical right now. And he says, no, I wanted to show you this video because I hit this huge milestone in my trading. And I made $250,000, which is more money than anybody has ever made in my family. So I said, $250,000? I didn't even know you were trading stocks. I haven't seen you in the chat room. He goes, no, I've been trading these cryptocurrencies. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Isn't that stuff a little hokey pokey? And at this point, I mean, Bitcoin's like $400 and Ethereum is at $2, you know, and I'm like, isn't that kind of a little hokey pokey? It doesn't mean anything. It's just it's a coin and you don't even get the coin. Like, where is this coin held? He's like, let me show you a couple things. And he showed me the movements in the Bitcoin. And I sat there just going, man, this is the volatility I've been looking for. And so I started studying up every single thing I could from him and asking him questions and then reading up on anything I could do. And I'm like, oh, you know, in the end, all this jargon is just jargon. You know, let's look at the charts. And what I saw was something really interesting when I started looking at the charts. The charts were moving in a way that I used to see the equities market move 10 years ago, before there were algos, before there were HFTs and mutual funds and chat rooms and all of this stuff. I saw just clean breakouts, pullbacks to support, getting supported. I saw a market that was just full of retail traders. And as a professional, I said, clean charts. My competition's not HFTs, algos. It's retail crypto dorks who aren't even trading, right? They're just buying and investing. That's an edge. See, as a trader, our number one job is to find an edge. Do I have an actual methodology that gives me an advantage against other people? When you think about all markets, who are you trading against in the stock market, the Forex market, the futures market? You are trading against sharks, people that have capital, the brains, the training to go out and win. And you're competing against those people. So you have to have that same level of commitment and capital, all of these things. In the crypto market, when I started looking at the charts and looking at the volume and the analysis, I didn't see big traders. I saw retail traders who might not even know really how to trade. And everything started working smooth. So the best thing to do when you start looking is to just start trading it. And that's where I started going in. From day one, I just started trading. And I started using the patterns that I've used in the stock market, that I ended up using and done very successfully in the futures market, because in the end, trading is trading. If you can spot patterns and setups in one market, they totally transfer into the other market. So once you get the jargon down, all of a sudden everything is applicable, but even better, the plays move clean. And that's what got me excited. I'm going to just go and give you a quick run through of what I'm seeing in the markets right now. And then I'll give you some of my favorite ideas and some of my plays and show you kind of what I've been up to. So this is right here. What you're seeing here is I'm going to go into first Bitcoin. So let's talk about Bitcoin because that's the one that everybody talks about. Now, the amazing part about Bitcoin is that it is just one coin out of thousands. Now, I don't even think that Bitcoin is actually the one that's the best investment or has the best applications. So what a cryptocurrency is, what Bitcoin does is it's essentially like a gigantic PayPal. You guys ever use PayPal, right? Or Stripe or something like that? It enables peer-to-peer transactions, but it's anonymous. And it's done on a blockchain, which is essentially just a network of computers where you guys can even be on the blockchain that all are used to verify and enforce transactions. But Bitcoin itself is essentially a digital currency. Now, there are hundreds of other coins that all have their own uses. Some of them are for payment transactions, but some of them have some really, really interesting applications like Ethereum, which I'll go into for a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about just Bitcoin. So one of the things I know you guys are probably thinking, looking at this darn chart is, holy crap, am I just coming into the tail end of the party? That's a natural reaction to seeing this chart because you've gone from $800 to $10,000. Very natural reaction. But this is what I would tell anybody who's like, am I buying the top? Am I getting into a bubble? Bubbles take 5, 6, 7 years sometimes. The stock market right now started running in 2009. It looks like it's not slowing down at all going into 2018. The tech bubble took years and years and years to go. This is what I would tell you about Bitcoin. If you really see the real action, it only started in about May, right? In May, it broke out kind of over this $1,000 range and started to go. So if you think about from May to now, what is that? 6 months? This hasn't run for years and years and years and years. Sure, it's up a lot, but if you're looking at the actual time of how trends work, then we're probably in the second inning of a very long move. Guys, the hardest things to stop in trading is the power of the trend. I remember 10 years ago, somebody's like, man, that Netflix is really, really overvalued. Never stopped going. Man, that Apple's $100. Like, how much more could it go? And it ran for years and years and years. There are so many things that can happen, but to stop a trend takes essentially a very, very powerful force. So we are probably in the second inning of a very long game. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about if you're coming in at the tail end. Now, the other thing is this. You can short this stuff. So one of the things that you'll see is oftentimes Bitcoin, and that's why I'm not worried about this $10,000 mark. Bitcoin retraces about 30 to 50% every few months. So one of the things that you'll notice about this, about every few months, it'll retrace kind of 30 to 50%. So you see this, 3,000 to 1,800, right? And then you saw from here, 5,000 to 3,000. And you see right here, just 2 weeks ago, 8,000 to 5,600. So even though it's up a lot, it gives amazing opportunities. My guess is, just based on patterns, that probably in the next few weeks, this will retrace, right? 20, 30, 40% again, but they happen really quick, and those end up being buying opportunities if you know how to spot the patterns. And so when I will teach you this class, what I'm going to be giving you is a full methodology on how to actually learn how to enter these stocks, all right? So we spend a small portion of time talking about what all this stuff is, what's a blockchain, what's a cryptocurrency, so that you have the knowledge of buying and understanding what you're in. But the most time we spend is, how the heck do you pick the exact buy spot where the turn comes in? How do I size my position? How do I manage my risk? How do I know what coin to actually buy? And that's going to be really, really important, because that's what trading is. Trading is a system, a set of rules that you can use day in and day out to spot entries, spot exits, and manage risk, which is always the most important part. So don't worry too much about whether this is going up or down. There are tons of opportunities in some of these other names. So I'll tell you just a simple pattern that we've been using all the time on these coins, which is what I call a flat top breakout, okay? So right now, the big position that I'm in is Ethereum. So if you guys understand a little bit about support and resistance, what you'll know about support and resistance is support and resistance are just essentially inflection points. Inflection points where an instrument can explode. And so how those support and resistance areas are made is when you look at a chart, and I'll be showing you how to use all these charts. When you look at a chart, it's about finding an area where the stock, the Forex instrument, the crypto is caged up, where it can't get it past. And so one of the things that you'll see, and why I'm long this Ethereum right now, is you can see right at this 400 level. In the spring, you went on this epic run, and this is why I love this trading. You just don't see this in the stock market or anywhere. This thing runs from 50 bucks. Then you can see you break out at 100. You run all the way to $400. Imagine if you had a few hundred shares running at $50, just a few hundred shares. That would cost you $15,000. Well, what could you have in a couple weeks? You're talking about doubling and tripling accounts without ever having to use leverage. One of the things that, I don't want to say the F word, but I will just say the F word. One of the things that F'd me so many times when I was a new trader was the overuse of leverage when I didn't know how to use it. And so I was constantly screwing up my accounts because I just have too much leverage in the stock market, and then the market would tank. With cryptos, because of the range on these bad boys, you don't necessarily need leverage. If anything, it could go against you because of the volatility. You don't want to be over leveraged because you can be stuck in a position that is that's moving too fast. But on the other side, you can have a small account, $5,000, $10,000. Some of my best students that have grown their accounts started with $2 or $3 grand. In cryptos, there is no pattern day trade rule. You can open an account at GDAX or Bittrex, which are the two accounts I use, with $100, with $500. And then we grow it, which is how everybody has to do it, right? I always tell my students, they say, well, I don't have 50 grand to put in my account and match you trade for trade. I said, well, I didn't have 50 grand either. It's a rite of passage to grow your account. It shows you how to trade properly. It shows you to respect money. And it gives you that backbone and that confidence you need for the rest of your career. So if you are trading a smaller account, this is the best instrument to trade. Because in the markets, in the stock market, you need 25 grand. In the crypto market, you can start with $500 and you can still start growing. And that's pretty important. So let me tell you a little bit about this type of pattern and why I really like Ethereum right now. So you ran up to $400 and then you came back, it dropped down to 100 and you came back to 400 again. So what do you have here? You have a mental level that's been resisted now twice. Understanding that price has a memory is one of the most important parts of trading. Remember that in the markets, these things are just made up of what? Buyers and sellers from people. And people have collective memories also. So if you are one of them guys that got stuck buying up here, what's going to happen when you come back to 400 again? There's going to be a level of selling, essentially a level of supply. But every time you test a level, what ends up happening is you soak up the supply in that level. So you test it and you test it. And the more times you test it, you are weakening that level. You are essentially beating down a door. And so once you finally get over it, it's an explosion. And that is the basis of what trading is sometimes. It's finding those inflection points where something can explode. Because otherwise you're just sitting around grinding around. And so what we have here is we test that thing at 400. Then we test it again. And then when you test it the third time, it's always 3 taps or more. Tap, tap, tap. 3 taps or more is what you need to really explode. So as this thing starts to break, I long this thing at $373. Stop goes under my 9 EMA, and I'll be teaching about the different EMAs and stuff that you'll be needing to use. And now we're off to the races. First target's $500, but let's see where this thing can go. Remember that I know from past history that we've seen at least on the runs 100 to 200% gains. So I can reasonably say, hey, I may get a double out of this potentially if it does what it has done in the past. And that becomes really important. But this pattern, guys, works so well with cryptos. You know, you'll see this in Bitcoin, Litecoin, all of these type of coins where you'll have a level. And you test that level and it'll come back, and you test it again and you come back. And the third test is where you get those monstrous explosions. This one pattern has been helping me make a killing in the crypto market. One of the things with crypto market is just really, really simple stuff of understanding where support, where resistance is, and then having patterns that you can play day in and day out is going to be really important. In my class, I give 4 day trading patterns and then 4 hot little swing trading patterns that you can do. The beauty of this market is because things run for days and days, you can do a lot of this stuff on the smartphone. So GDAX, which is one of the brokers I use, Bittrex, right on your iPhone, you can be inputting in these orders and watching them cruise around. So you don't always have to be glued at the computer to make these trades. But let's talk about this. This is a triple tap breakout again, right on Bitcoin. So this was actually one of my best trades of the year. So test it right at that 3,000 level. See how you come back and test and fade back? And then now you got the third time, guys. 3 tests, you're good to go. 2 tests are for losers. 3 tests is explosion. And it's just a very simple pattern, but it works so well in crypto trading. I've been trading this pattern for over a decade in the stock market. And when I just started opening up these crypto accounts, I'm like, holy crap. My bread and butter is back, right? Test. Build up the pressure cooker, and then you can go. And that's just one of the tenets of all trading, whether you're day trading or swing trading. So let me ask you this. So a lot of people say, well, okay, this is all fine and dandy. Why do I have to be in this, right? Why is it necessary to have to be in this? Well, you get shifts in the markets and paradigms in the market about once every decade, right? In 2000 and before, the tech boom came. And if you missed it, you missed out on one of the biggest runs. But think about who runs the world right now. It's not the old school companies, the oil companies, the coal companies. They're all gone. Who runs the world now? Who runs every single product that you think of now? Google, Facebook, Apple. We can't escape it. Everything we use is in this, right? Every so often, a shift comes in the market that people are like, at first don't believe, and then it permeates your whole life. And cryptos is that next phase. We are taking something that has so many different uses. Bitcoin is a currency. Ethereum is smart contracts. Look up smart contracts when you get a chance. Smart contracts, which Ethereum uses on their blockchain, has the potential to revolutionize a lot of businesses. It's essentially an electronic contract between 2 parties on the blockchain that can be anywhere in the world. So if you think about like when you buy a mortgage, right? You have your escrow guy, your loan officer, your mortgage person, your insurance person. And when you're doing your mortgage, it takes, 30 days and all of this stuff to happen. And you have all these middlemen that you got to pay. A smart contract is an electronic contract that is written, enforced, and kept on the blockchain. It's pretty cool. It has so many uses that you can do beyond just those type of middlemen contracts that I think are really, really going to change the industry, which is one of the reasons that Ethereum is one of my favorite. Beyond just, it is amazing to trade. Let me tell you something. If you're a day trader versus swing trader, so what I gave you here is a swing trade. But imagine you're just a day trader. The range on this instrument is wild. You can see here, like in this market goes 24/7. So this is about 6 o'clock. Between 6 and 12, you've run $50, $60 right here. Imagine that. So if you had 10 shares, you have a smaller account, you got 10 shares, you can make $500 in a span of hours. That's pretty cool without having to use leverage and exposing yourself to the risk of an account blow up. Because that's the thing that happens sometimes if you over lever, right? Something ticks down just a few points, you got too much leverage, boom, there goes your account. When you are trading with volatility, with something that's trending but you don't have leverage, you have the opportunity to get really, really good gains, but you're not at risk of what? Losing all your capital. As traders, our number one job is to always protect our capital. You guys go out and work, you have family, college tuition to pay for, account blow-ups, you can't do, right? You have a responsibility to your family to always protect capital. And that's the best part about cryptocurrencies, the volatility, but also you don't have to over-lever. And the beauty is this, which you don't see in a lot of things. When you are trading with trends, trends have the unique ability to erase mistakes. Meaning, when you are trading with something that has a big momentum trend, if you are off by 1 or 2%, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get out of the trade. What you have to do in a lot of day trading in the stock market, something goes against you 1%, you're like, oh, you know, I got to take this position off. I got my leverage on it, and it's got to go. In cryptos, something may dip down 1 or 2%, and boom, 10 minutes later, it's up 10%. When you are trading with the trend, it can erase a lot of mistakes, but also your level of skill can be less because now you're trading with the wind at your back, which I think is going to be the most important thing. When you have the opportunity to trade with trend, everything changes, guys. Everything changes. You know, counter trend trading, range trading, things, markets that go sideways, it just turns you into a scalper. Let me take a point here. Let me take a point here. Let me take a point here. I'm in the game of taking 100 points, 50 points. I want 20, 30, 50% gains when I make trades. That way, I'm not just nickel and diming myself for 10 bucks here, 10 bucks there, which is one of the keys to building wealth. So in our program, I'm going to show you a few different things. Number one, how to make daily income via day trades in some of these trending instruments, how to find the hot ones. Now, every single day, you're going to have different currencies that are running. So I'm just showing you some of the big ones. But some of these little guys, oh man, they can really move too. This is one of the ones that these guys are trading in our room right now. This is Triggy Bear. So Trig has gone from 50 cents to 160 in a matter of couple days. Look at in the past, in September, this thing was 20 cents and ran up to 290. That is a monstrous 10x return. Think about that, 10x. So beyond just the bigger cryptocurrencies, there is an awesome opportunity in trading some of these little guys. Now look at some of these bad boys go. This was IOTA. This was one that we were shredding out in the late summer. 25 cents to 115. So not only you got Bitcoin trades, but we have the ability to get into some of these more speculative names using the same strategies and the same patterns, but really go for some account building type of runs. So I'm going to show you how to build wealth with these account builders, and then we're going to be trading Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin back and forth also for daily income trades. So guys, what's the future hold? I think we are in inning 2 of a very long and lucrative game. You know, you're going to start to see more applications for a lot of this stuff. And as it becomes mainstream, price can go through the roof. There are 11 million Bitcoins out in the world. Each one of these cryptocurrencies has a certain amount of supply. What happens when your grandfather is at the dinner table saying, wait, I got to get in some of that Bitcoin? There's only 11 million out there. When the rush of buyers comes in, that's when you can get big explosive moves. And we'll be able to trade them to the short side when it finally tanks, and then we'll scoop them back up to the long side. But for now, the trend is strong. So Tyson, thank you for letting me come on. I really appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, hey, Kunal, I actually have a couple questions for you that I think are awesome. First of all, I want to just kind of hit on some of the core concepts of the strategy. It sounded like you're talking my game here because it's absolutely amazing. You're talking about trend trading with the concept of tying in supply and demand levels or support and resistance levels. Is that, am I on the right path there?
Yep.
That's
so
absolutely brilliant.
Momentum, patterns, and then, you know, support.
And I love how you talked about that 3-tap pattern, that supply, that essentially where supply becomes demand and you get those explosive moves higher. Another thing that I really want to make sure that everybody understands is that the reason this is such an exciting industry right now is because, well, Kunal just hit it, It's the volatility every day. Something's moving. Today we've got pairs that are moving 25, 30% just today. We don't have currencies that move that much anymore. We don't have, it's hard to find stocks that move that much. This is where the money is being made, and this is where the markets, where a lot of students are going to be making a ton of money. Now, another thing on Ethereum, I love Ethereum too. I think I'm right there with you with Ethereum. The way I look at Ethereum long term is, somebody explained it to me one time and they said Ethereum is kind of like the Amazon, right? And I actually believe it's bigger than that. I actually think it's not like Amazon. I think it's like the internet. And I think, because if you imagine, Amazon's a piece of the internet, yeah, but you also have all these other Alibaba, you have all these other internet companies. Ethereum essentially has the potential to be that foundational structure like the internet is, and imagine being able to invest in that, right now for the long run. It's absolutely huge. So is Ethereum one of your favorite long term right now?
I think so. It's got the most potential because it's its own network. Like all these little coins you see here, most of them are actually building on Ethereum's network. So like I have a buddy that does esports gambling, and so they have their own tokens, and they do it on Ethereum's network. And so what you're starting to see is Ethereum is being used as its own currency in a way like Bitcoin, but it's more than that. These people are actually building applications on it that for other coins, not to mention the ability to do smart contracts. I mean, imagine you're like a farmer in Venezuela where, the currency just fluctuating like crazy, and you need to make a deal with some guy in Asia for something. Well, now with Ethereum, they can do a smart contract without any middlemen and have the transfer of money that's beyond just currencies, along with an enforceable contract, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I'm sure you've heard the rumors of different countries, Russia and China and stuff like that, working with Vitalik on actually creating some type of currency for their own countries, which is huge. The future is just astronomical. One last question real fast. We have a trading session. We have this, you're the creator, the founder of this Ultimate Cryptocurrency course. We're so excited to have you. You actually have your first kickoff session this Friday. Now, real fast for everybody that's in here, and we have a lot of people that have already signed up. We are putting a cap for Cyber Monday, just so everybody knows. We're putting a cap of 50 new students because we've had such a huge demand. We don't want to overwhelm Kumal on Friday. So we're going to put an additional 50 students. So if you have not gotten involved in this yet, I highly recommend, in fact, what I would do if I were you, I would highly recommend typing your phone number in right now if you want to trade with Kumal on Friday and get into this Ultimate Cryptocurrency course. Now, real fast, as they type their numbers in, real fast in closing, you spend, so what I love about the way you look at cryptos, I look at cryptos as, people would talk to me about cryptos and I'd be like, hey, the strategy is buy and just buy and hold and just keep buying. What I love about what you're bringing is you're bringing the aspect of, listen, yes, have a long-term picture, so it's about the long-term wealth, but then it's more than that. Tyson, these are moving, so let's try to generate, don't forget what you do in currencies, but add this to your arsenal because these are moving much more than anything else out there. And how about you make money as these move 20, 30% on a day, make money with this. And I love that. I've never thought about this before. I thought about it a little bit, but until you came on board and until we created this relationship, I've never even thought about it this way. And so my question is do you have, I think you're in California, right?
I'm in Florida.
Florida, oh, well, you're right by us. Okay, great. So what time have you noticed any trends or any patterns as far as volatility coming in? So for example, in currencies, we have something that's called the London Daybreak, right? So we have multiple liquidity providers around the world open up at the same time in the currency markets. Is there similar when we can see these flips, these switches with miners and different things like that come on board with cryptos? It's
actually really interesting. There is a couple sets of hours. So things move pretty well, like in the U.S. hours. You'll get movement. So like this is Amona. This is one of the ones that we've been kind of trading back and forth. So you can see like this thing's been moving. It was moving at night, but really it started its run around 6 a.m. It really, it's up 50, 60% from 6 a.m. So You'll get kind of right around that 6 a.m. You'll start to see some movement. But then the other part, which I really like, is I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. to trade. Too old, been doing this too long. I like my mornings. I like hanging out, having coffee. I chit-chat with my students in a webinar, and, I like that relaxed morning. But what you'll see is when the Asian markets start cooking, so like later at night, like when the Chinese markets start to close or start to open, that's when you'll also start to see some runs. So like in that kind of 8, 9, 10 o'clock, you'll get some action too, which is fun because like I talked to a lot of my students and they all send me pictures. They're like, just sitting on a laptop, trading cryptos, pretending to listen to my wife. Like, like they're having a little family time, some TV time, but he's got it. They'll have their laptops out and they can sit there and trade at night, like while they're doing other stuff.
It's funny you mentioned that because it's open 7 days a week, 24 hours, and I love it because the weekends, as a trader, I love the markets. I love being in front of the markets. I love when the markets are open because that means it's money-making time. While the market closes on the weekends with the cryptos, it's always open.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I use 15-minute charts because of the volatility. So you don't have to necessarily have like 5 monitors and all this stuff. Like when you trade on 1-minute charts, you sometimes need multiple monitors. You need more focus. You need a lot more tools. I see something, but with cryptos, 15-minute charts, things move a little bit smoother. They move a little bit slower, even though they have volatility, just because your candles are a lot longer. And so you can trade off a laptop or a phone and kind of let things play out, which I really like. After being in the stock market where you're sometimes you're in a trade for like 5 minutes sometimes, and you're always like in, out, sashaying around, having something where you're having a little bit longer hold time, but more explosion, it just trades easier for me. I think it's just a little bit healthier sometimes, especially, if you're hanging out with your family and stuff like that. I was trading on Thanksgiving.
Yep. So was I. I was at the table looking at it. We were having conversations. It was great. So again, we're going to have a session with Kumal this Friday, but it doesn't stop there. We're actually allowing our students as a bonus to spend the whole month with you. They're going to get the course. They're going to get the foundations, and they're going to spend a whole month trading with you. Now, again, I want to make sure everybody understands this. We only have 50 spots left for this Cyber Monday special. You'll be able to get it into it tomorrow, but the cost is going up because the demand is so high, and we want to make sure that we don't overwhelm Kumal. Now, if you haven't typed your number in yet, now is the time to do that. But here's my last question is, I love that. So one of the things that you've opened my eyes up to also, because I've been really involved, pretty heavily involved. I got involved late, but I got involved real heavily like back in last February. And so way behind, right? But better late than never. But again, my whole viewpoint has always been long-term. Like I talked about in the last webinar, I talked about, the Litecoin halving followed up by the Bitcoin halving kind of trade that I'm looking to get into. It's a great long-term trade. One thing that you've opened my eyes up to is the shorter-term aspect. So in the course, what percentage is going to be focused around the short-term income trades, and then is there going to be a spin-in of the fundamentals and the longer-term approach also?
So we do 50-50. So I do half on the swing trading, which is your multi-day, multi-week type of hold. Yep. And then half is on day trading. Because I'm a firm believer, like you could have an account and be building for wealth, but you still got to eat, right? If you want to do this for your job, which is what the goal of a lot of my students is, it's not just to build wealth. Yep. It's, I want to do this for work, right? I want to sit in front of my computer and I trade because I love it. So you got to go out and make money every day. You got to feed, you got to eat. So we learn both, and I think it's just important to do both. I love that aspect of day trading because it's like it gives you validation of how your day went, right? I made money today. I made these good trades. I ran my process right, and that's important to me.
It's fun as long as the markets are moving, right? And as you said, lately in this market environment that we're in, even in the currency world, we're in a very low volatility environment. It's like, how in the world do we make money in this low volatility environment? Well, here comes cryptos. It's absolutely amazing. It's going to serve a huge purpose for our students, and I know that you already have a bunch of students on board that have started to make a tremendous amount of money with this. And I'm gonna listen. We've got a lot of people in here. We have over 300 people in here. We have a lot of people that have signed up for this course already. We have 50 more spots. My whole viewpoint of this course is, as Kumal just said, it's about long-term wealth and short-term income. I need to build for those future generations, that legacy money, and I need to continue to build out long-term, but I also need to focus short-term because I need to get paid today, right? Because if I get paid today, then I'm truly free to do what I need to do. So, hey, Kumal, listen, it's been such a pleasure to have you here. We're going to get to know you and get to basically get to work with you for a very long time. Our students are going to absolutely just love working with you. I want to transition and inviting you guys to get involved with this course, getting involved into a course where I believe this is going to be the transformation of a lot of students. And not only that, but I actually think it's more important than just, hey, I want to generate income today. Kumal, if you're still there, I believe that this is a must for everybody. I actually think this penetrates through not just the person who wants to trade, invest for income today, but literally I think there's going to be forced adoption when it comes to cryptos eventually. We might be 5, 10, 20 years away, but I think eventually there's going to be some type of forced adoption because of the benefits that these offer. What do you think of that?
I think it's already happening slowly. I mean, if you think about the way the world has been trending with globalization and stuff, I mean, we're kind of getting into that one world, one government, one world type of scenario, right? You have the EU and all of this stuff. Everybody's getting connected. And no longer is it just going to be like, hey, I'm in Michigan, I'm going to do a deal with the guy in Florida. Now it's, a guy in Venezuela that says, I want to do a deal with a guy in Cambodia, and my partner's in Michigan, and we all have a piece of a contract. So now as you're getting more global, these are the only ways you can do this, because this is just mathematics and contracts, right? It's just tickers, and that's universal.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What if, so we have students that, I'm a natural skeptic myself, right? And that's the reason why I didn't get involved. I heard about this in 2012. I didn't get involved until February 2017. What took me so long is because I didn't believe it, right? I ignored it. I made fun of it. I fought it. And then I finally accepted it. So what if, let's play devil's advocate for a second here. What if this is a fad and it all implodes? Is there, you mentioned that there's still money to be made on the downside, correct?
Yeah, we'll short the crap out of these things.
I love it.
That's just the way it goes. There's a lot of different exchanges that you can do shorting at. And now with Bitcoin it's being enabled for futures trading, you'll be able to really have a lot of different ways to trade this, not just in your typical buy and hold, but you'll be able to do futures contracts and all different types of things. So I think there'll be some aspects on this, but in the end, it's like, somebody was asking me, it's like, well, how do you know about this and that? I go, I don't know, and I actually don't really care. I just want to make money. Yep. If something is going to go up every day or every week or every month, I'm not going to be the one that sits back and then like 5 years from now being like, oh, I should have bought that. I should have played that. Like, to me, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of the opportunities missed, they eat at you sometimes. They've eaten at me. I remember in 2009 coming out of, the recession, I had stocks, some of these things like Pier 1 Imports, like, their furniture coming. I had like 100,000 shares at like 15 cents. And it ran to $30 and I sold it for like 18 cents. You know what I mean? But like you have those, right? Like, the Amazon at $5 or, we all have those. Like we've all had opportunities in our life that we've missed. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but when I miss them, to me, that's even worse than taking losses sometimes, because you just think about it. And
it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I think there's two types of traders. I say this all the time to this group, is I say you get the fear of losing, or as you mature, it's almost you get to a point of the fear of missing out. And for me, you mature to the point of like, listen, you see opportunities, you take advantage of it. And you mentioned you think we're in the first or second inning of this. I actually, and I'm not going to disagree with that, I think we're just walking into the stadium, Kumal. I don't even think we've taken our seat yet, and the game hasn't even started.
Yeah, and like I was telling everybody, really, a lot of people think that the run's huge, but if you think about it, the run really just started in May for all these things. Yep. In May, Litecoin was, a few bucks. Like, these things just started moving, I've never heard of anything being a bubble after 1 year. That's just mathematics. There's been no 1 year bubble. Then it's not called a bubble.
Correct. And one of my theories is that, Market Traders Institute, as an example, we are world leaders in financial education. And I would say, and you know what, it's shame on us, but I would, probably 10 to 15% of our companies involved in Bitcoin. You think about that. We're more savvy. We're on the forefront of everything that's going on, and we still only have 10 to 15% of our, so the way it goes from 9 to 90,000 is when 70, 80% of Market Trader Institute employees finally get involved, right? That's when the those that are in the know kind of start getting involved. When it goes from 90,000 to 1 million, that's when mom and pop, my next door neighbors, the person who works at 3M, that's when everybody, your cab driver's starting to get involved. We're not even close to that point yet. And that's what's so exciting. And it's truly finite. The supply is truly limited, which is huge.
And what we have to really realize too is that the hottest coins, the ones that we're going to make the most money on, they haven't even been invented yet.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that's the thing. Like, see this Litecoin, when I was training this, nobody had heard of this thing. It was just sitting around forever. And then one day it just pops up a couple 100% and it just keeps going. The next one, whatever it may be, the one that really gives us the 50x or 60x or whatever it might be, it hasn't even been invented yet.
So you keep your students up on ICOs, and then also last question, then we'll roll in. I want to make sure everybody can get. We had a bunch of people type their number in yet, or number in. So if you want us to set one of these aside, go ahead, type your number in. But last two questions. Number one, do you keep your students up to date on ICOs that are coming out so we can take advantage of those big moves? Because I completely ignore them, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to now that I'm involved with this. And then number two, as far as the fundamentals coming out, right, the catalysts such as Coinbase bringing on Bitcoin Cash and the futures contracts now, do you keep your students up to date on that stuff?
Yeah, so I'm always reading. The best part about the crypto stuff, there's only a handful of real good news sources out there. So to actually keep up to date on what's happening in the crypto markets is not take a genius. And so I teach my guys here, these are the news sources that we're going to read. This is what we stay up on. And then the main thing is just having a daily routine and process, which is something I spend a lot of time on. Like when I wake up, I run the scanner, see what's popping. And then, right, we can read the news sources. If something's just going to be dead, then I don't really want to spend time reading it. But if something starts to move, I want to know. Absolutely. Right? And so we'll start looking at some of the scanners, see where the volume's coming in, see what's starting to move. And then we'll start digging in a little bit more to the research.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. And so here's the deal, everybody. I believe wholeheartedly at the core of who I am that if you combine your master technical skills with understanding what you learned from Market Traders Institute, along with what Kumal is going to teach you, and then you get the understanding of why these cryptos move and which ones are moving and the scanning techniques of how to find them, this is an unstoppable force. I believe that this is an unstoppable force. And from my standpoint, the students that get involved and follow the process, they're going to make a tremendous amount of money. And one last thing that I'll say to Kumal that I think he hit on perfectly is the fact that we don't use huge margin or leverage. It allows for staying power, which is so many. I've blown up 3 accounts myself, and whoa, dude, not fun, not fun. And the thing that I've seen so many really good traders that no longer trade because they blew up an account. And the thing with cryptos is it kind of forces you not to do that, which is awesome. That's awesome. All right, Kumal, listen, hey, thank you so much. I'm excited. Type in a wire yes in the question section if you are super excited about trading with Kumal on Friday. If you're so excited about getting in this course, we've probably got about 20 people who have typed in their number out of the 300 in this room, which means, well, Kumal, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to make sure we fill this class up. So, hey, again, thank you so much. Everybody, can you see my screen here?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute here, Kumal, and then we're going to go through this.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the time. Seriously, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for a lot of us. We're in the beginning of something awesome.
Yep, beginning of something awesome, and we're going to see a lot of lives change. So that's what it's all about. Thanks, Kumal. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, I want to make sure you can see my screen. Here's the deal. As I go through this, I want you guys, if you have not typed your phone number in yet, now is the time. I can't stress this enough. There isn't one person in this room, and I mean this. I don't care if my grandmother was in this room. She needs to understand what cryptos mean. She needs to understand how to take advantage of the movements. I personally, just so you know, I personally have up to this point, up to about a week and a half ago, I personally ignored ICOs and smaller cryptos and all this kind of buzz out there because I was more of a buy and hold, and I'm a huge fan. I've talked to many people about this, about accumulating a longer-term crypto portfolio. The thing I love about what Kumal's brought is the fact that he's able to teach us and able to show us strategies that work specifically for the cryptos, because they're moving. It's huge. It's absolutely amazing. This is an A to Z course, okay? This is an A to Z course that will teach you everything. You're going to get the education, the software, the mentorship. Now, let me kind of run through this, and I wanted to make sure that I answer or ask Kumal some of the questions as far as the baseline. Is there going to be a foundational understanding of the fundamentals? What about ICOs? So think about this. You guys are going to have the ability to get into and be on the forefront of whatever that next currency that's going to be created. Who knows if it's going to be created in a month or 2 months or 3 months. but Kumal's going to keep his students and all of you guys up to date on what's coming out. And you guys are going to hopefully be able to take advantage of those next humongous moves. For example, there was something that was, there's a hard fork that happened, and there was a currency called Bitcoin Gold that came out that had an explosive move last week. Well, Kumal's going to help you stay in front of that stuff. He's also going to help you understand, and we're going to help you with this too, understand where you should set your accounts up with. Now, Kumal mentioned he trades with Bittrex and Coinbase, or a branch of Coinbase. I trade with Coinbase, Cryptonator, Bittrex. There's also other places. We're going to help you with that. We're going to make sure, listen, this is a new world for a lot of you, but I don't want anybody in this room, to get overwhelmed. I don't want you to think, oh man, I've got to forget everything that I've learned and learn something brand new. No. You guys have the foundation already. The foundation is already set as far as what you need to understand with the technicals. And now just to add a little bit of concepts that Kunal is going to essentially teach you. And the thing I loved is he mentioned the whole concept of supply and demand and trading supply and demand. Yeah, you guys have probably heard me talk about that before. I love the fact that we have somebody finally talking about that more. But he's going to teach you how to apply that and then how to take advantage of those short-term moves while building up a long-term portfolio. You're going to learn understand the technical analysis, the market cycles, the scanning techniques, how to find your opportunities, right? Because if something's going to move in the next 24 hours, we need to focus on what's going to move in the next 24 hours and the reasons why. The strategies are the breakouts, retracements. You're going to learn day trading strategies and then longer-term strategies also. Now, if you're thinking about, well, why in the world should I do this, right? Well, here's some of the reasons why. When we trade currencies, or really any asset class in the world, right? It doesn't matter what asset class it is, but when you trade, you need movement to make money. Now, there are option strategies where you can trade and not get movement and make money, but the problem with those is you typically don't make a tremendous amount of money. For us to make life-changing money, we need movement. Would everybody agree with that? Type in a Y or yes in the question section if you agree that for us to make a lot of money, we need a lot of movement, period. That's a fact. Well, again, the issue is if that's true, which it is a true statement, if that's the truth, then we need to find the markets that are moving. And there are times in the markets that, well, I mean, it is what it is. There's times in the markets when you get into a market environment like the Euro Yen has been in, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it does nothing. It's almost like watching paint dry, and you're like, what in the world am I doing? This is a very difficult area and opportunity or place to make money in. But if I know that something's moving, such as cryptos, and I can take advantage of those, then I can participate in the markets that I know are going to provide the biggest movement and therefore provide me and my family the biggest income. Now, the question you should be asking yourself is this, not is if Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are real, because they are. They are. It's 100% real. The question you should be asking yourself is the movement going to continue? That's the million-dollar question, because if the movement's going to continue with your baseline of technical analysis right now and then the knowledge of how to trade these, if it continues to move, then there's no excuse for you guys not to make a tremendous amount of money. The answer from what I'm seeing is not only is it going to continue to move, but the volatility is going to be even higher. It's going to continue to move even more aggressively because we're getting more and more people every single day that understands this. In fact, I believe it was on Friday of last week, Coinbase, one of the exchange platforms that we work with, Coinbase, I believe it was, I want to say 100,000 accounts or plus. They have 13 million accounts total. They opened up over 100,000 accounts in one day. And that's because more and more people are starting to become aware of the fact that they have to get involved. And if you don't get anything from today's webinar, leave with this. You have to understand this. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I believe, as Kunal just confirmed, I believe that we are moving into a point of forced adoption. Now, we are not 100% at forced adoption yet. We're probably years and years away. But I'm going to tell you the environment that we're eventually going to move into from my standpoint. We're going to get to a point where if I want to buy something on Amazon, and this might take years, but if I want to buy something on Amazon, I can use my credit card and my fiat dollars to buy it, but there's going to be a surcharge or some type of surcharge on top of that. Whereas if I use cryptocurrencies, because Bitcoin or because Amazon is actually going to have lower transaction costs and faster payments for those that use crypto, so there's benefits to them. And so what they're going to do is they're going to give me incentives to start using cryptos. And I honestly think we're less than a year or two away from that happening in some of the retailers already. And I believe that's when it becomes forced adoption. That's when it becomes it no longer makes sense for me to transact in my normal fiat currency, because if I buy something at $100, but then there's a surcharge and it actually costs me $115, whereas if I use a crypto, I'm actually not buying it for $100, but maybe I get a 5% discount because I use a crypto. That's a huge incentive for me, so therefore more and more people will be incentivized to use it. And the use case of cryptos is only exploding. We can buy, there was a guy who invested in Bitcoin, I think it was in 2011, 2012, put like $150 in Bitcoin. His name's Peter. There was a story on him, $115 in Bitcoin. And just like a few months ago, he bought a Lamborghini with that purchase of $115 in Bitcoin that he purchased years ago. $115 into a Lamborghini in a few years. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. It happened. It happened. Now, I look at this, and I want you guys to look at this course as twofold. One, you got to think long-term wealth. We're talking about the infancy of something that I believe will set you and your family up for generational wealth. Generations after generations. I personally am setting me, my boys, my wife, my family up for generational wealth with cryptocurrencies personally. I'm allocating, I've got about probably 40-50% of my allocation in there now. I'm going to get that up to 70 to 80% of my overall long-term investment allocation into cryptos. Now, there's a long-term investment strategies that I use a lot. I'm super excited about Kunal teaching the short-term strategies. I took advantage of some of this last week where I bought Bitcoin. I bought the spread between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. It moved up 48% in one day. There wasn't anything else. I looked around. There wasn't anything else that moved 48%. And these type of moves happen consistently. Kunal talked about a currency that was moving like 40-50% today. I mean, just huge movements that happen all the time. It's amazing. Now, let's think about this for a second. If you haven't typed in your phone number, if you're still listening to me and you're still sitting on the sidelines wondering, oh man, should I do this? Well, think about what it potentially means in the long run. What does it potentially mean in the long run? What if Bitcoin, let's think about the aspects and the reality of this might be real, right? What if this is real? What if Bitcoin goes to the levels where I believe it's going to? And Bitcoin is just one of the currencies in the overall world of cryptocurrencies. What if they all kind of, a rising tide floats all boats? But let's talk just specifically Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin within the next 10 to 30 years inevitably will see $500,000 to $1 million price. Yes, I'll be on record to say that, and I think there's many supply and demand concepts that prove that. Now, if I'm right, then you're missing out on an opportunity for something to go from $9,000 to $1 million potentially. Don't miss it. You've already missed by waiting until today to go into this. You've already missed out on Bitcoin moving just from Friday, from moving $8,100 to $9,700 per Bitcoin. That's $1,600 over the weekend. How much more is it going to move over the next couple days? Well, who knows? The thing is moving absolutely huge. But let's just flip it around and say, what if I'm wrong? Well, then as Kunal actually just mentioned, we then short it. We make the money on the downside. In fact, a lot of times, there's more money to be made in the Great Depression, the dot-com bubble, the financial collapse. There was almost more millionaires, not on a percentage basis, but there were people who made more money during those huge bubble collapses than they ever did during the good times, because they happen fast, much faster. You think it goes up fast, wait until, if this is a bubble, wait until it pops. The amount of money is going to be huge to be made. So from my standpoint, if you don't get anything, get this, understand this. Understand that you may not want to sit here and day trade cryptos every single day, even though I think it makes a lot of sense because the movement is huge and you can make a tremendous amount of money. You can make a tremendous amount of money. There's not another asset class out there moving 10, 20, 30, 40% on a daily basis. So I might as well start learning how to trade that. Or if you don't want to do that, at least understand the power and the transformational aspect of what these cryptocurrencies will mean to you and all of your loved ones and family in the future. You can get in on the ground floor, and I believe we've just not even begun the game yet. The game hasn't even started, on the ground floor of something huge. Now here's what you're going to get in this course. Again, those that have typed in their number, we probably have about 25 people that have typed in, 30 people maybe, that have typed in their number. We'll set one of those seats aside. We have a trading session, a kickoff session coming up with Kunal this Friday, which is huge. I'm super excited about that. We are going to limit this to the number of students because we don't want to overwhelm Kunal, especially with this first introductory session to MTI. But you're going to get a 4-hour live class. This is going to be an intense class with Kunal. He's going to teach you all his strategies. He's going to teach you the ins and outs, the whys, the wheres. You're going to have all the access to this on the online access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You'll be able to retake the course. You're also, as a bonus for those that type in their numbers, we're going to give you bonus mentorships and bonus trading sessions, but we're also going to give you something huge. We're going to give you bonus cryptocurrency data feeds with Smart Trader. We are going to become the one-stop shop where you can do all your charting, all your analysis directly out of Smart Trader, which is huge. If you don't get involved in the cryptocurrency course, you'll be able to get the data feed with cryptos, but it'll be very, very expensive because the data is very expensive. But you guys that get involved, we're going to give that to you as a bonus. You're going to have access to the cryptocurrency feeds through Smart Trader, which is huge. It's all going to be recorded. You're going to get the mentorships. You're going to get the personal coaching and the lead-up sessions. You're going to get access to a guy for 1 full month, and you're going to get everything he knows as far as the information in his mind and how he trades. You're going to get access to a gentleman that has videos that have over 1 million views on YouTube, a gentleman that's helped thousands and thousands of people get to their tipping point in stocks and now in cryptos. He has a guy he just talked about that turned, I think it was a $12,000 account to $250,000 in a very fast amount of time. You can turn a very small amount into a large amount as long as the markets are moving. So what if you don't do this? What if you don't do this? What if you haven't typed your phone number in yet? If you haven't typed your phone number in yet, well, listen, let me talk to you for a second. You might be thinking, well, I can't do it because I can't afford it. I believe that even an investment just in Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash over the next 6 months will pay for this course probably 2, 3, 4 times over. Just if all you do is invest in that and do nothing else but learn, and you're basically, the profits you make from investing in the cryptos is essentially going to pay for the course. But if you don't do it and you decide to just ignore this whole movement that's happening, then eventually you're going to be like, I believe, like a lot of my family members. There's going to be a time when you're forced to adopt this. But once the Main Street individuals are forced to adopt this, then price isn't going to be at $9,000. You're going to wish you could go back to the time when Bitcoin was at $9,000 because it's going to be sitting at $200,000, $300,000, $1 million. That's when we have forced adoption. And that's when you look back and say, geez, I remember that Tyson, that Kunal, I remember Market Traders Institute talking about how to trade this, invest in this when it was $9,000. Are you kidding me? Don't let this be the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Don't let the money that you think, oh, I can't afford it, get in the way of you doing something that I believe is not only going to change your life, but honestly is going to change multiple generations' life. Not joking. I'm not kidding you. So here's the deal. Here's how we're going to do it. And again, thank you to those that have typed in their phone number. Here's how we're going to do this. The Ultimate Cryptocurrency course was revealed on Friday, Black Friday. We have decided to extend this into a Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is a huge day, and we're also offering a Cyber Monday discount, which is great. We have decided to put a cap on this because we want to make sure that we don't overwhelm Kunal on Friday. After the Cyber Monday launch, after this, you will be able to pick up this course without the bonuses. Now, you won't get the bonuses of the live sessions. You won't get the bonus of the currency feed, of the crypto feed. It will be $49.95, which is a steal. It's worth every penny of that. Trust me, this course, I've went through the details of this course. It is huge, and it's worth every penny. It's worth every single penny. But you guys in this room, we're going to do so much better. We have decided to roll this out, not to the public yet. We're going to roll it out to the public. We're going to roll it out to our students first. Because we know that our students are probably set up better than the public for success right away. Because you already understand technicals. You already understand kind of how the financial markets work. Now it's just understanding the ins and outs of the cryptos and tying what you already know to this course. So what we're going to do for today is we're going to discount this 50% for the next 50 students that type in their phone number right now with the word bonus. The reason I want you to type in your phone number with the word bonus is because not only are we going to give you a substantial discount, and also not only do we offer payment plans for those that are like, oh, but Tyson, I don't have $2,497. That's fine. Listen, I'm not telling you to spend $2,497. I'm not telling you if you can't afford that, we will work with you. We'll walk with you with payment plans. I don't want any person in here to let this webinar shut down and say, man, I missed out on a huge opportunity. I'm telling you right now, I believe Bitcoin's going to 11,500 before the end of the year. That's another $2,000 up. And you guys could take advantage of this, the ups and downs. And it could basically, just the movement that I see between now and the end of the year, and Bitcoin could pay for this course. So do not let this cost or the payments, because we're willing to work with you, get in the way of you doing something amazing. Now, here's what we're going to do. For those that type in their phone number with the word bonus, we're going to give you some bonus sessions, and those bonus sessions are going to start this Friday. And we're going to limit this. We didn't know if we were going to limit this or not, but before this webinar started, we had such a huge demand from the last 3 webinars that we did. We decided that we're going to limit it to the next 50 students that are able to get into this Cyber Monday bonus and the live trading sessions that start on this Friday. And what that does is that's going to basically kickstart your career, kickstart this foundation within the cryptocurrencies. It's going to be your chance to trade with Kunal. It's going to be your chance to get to know him a little better, and he's going to end up being your best friend within this trading and investing world, because he's going to be focusing on the markets that are moving the most. It's absolutely huge. So again, I wish I could get everybody in this room in this, but it is the first 50 or the next 50. We're going to cap it off at 50. And I want to thank those that have typed in their phone number. And as you type your phone number in, if you haven't yet, I'm going to give you another bonus. But I want to thank Milton. I've got your phone number. If I'm counting, I've just done a kind of a rough count. We probably have about 32 people who have typed in their number out of the 300 plus that were here. I got to tell you, that's okay, great, but it makes me wonder what the other 90% of you are going to do. Are you going to ignore this? Are you going to ignore the movement of cyber, of cryptocurrencies? Are you going to try to fight it? Or are you going to try to learn more about it? Are you still on the fence and you're not quite sure? If you're still on the fence and not quite sure, then what I would recommend you do is type your number and have us set one of these seats aside. We'll talk with you. We'll walk with you. If we can work out the details, right? If we can work this out, whether it be payments or scholarships, vouchers, if we can work out details with you, then guess what? Then I believe you're going to be off to the races and learning an additional asset that we didn't talk about this, but I want to mention this real fast. This asset class here has the opportunity, or is a beneficial asset class for you, because it's going to help you diversify your portfolio. If you are or have went through losses in the currency markets or in the stock market before, imagine being in a asset class and understanding another asset class where if something else isn't working, you can now plug into this. That's what I love about the type of trader I am. I've traded every asset class that exists. Every single asset class pretty much that exists out there I've traded, and I love that about myself, because if something's moving, I can make money. If something starts to fall apart, or if I start losing money over here, I can hopefully start making money over here. That's what I love about this. It's going to help you diversify. So the second bonus is what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys access to the crypto feed and smart trader that we'll be launching very, very soon. Very excited about that. You'll be able to get access to this if you're not in the course for a pretty hefty monthly fee, because the feed itself is very expensive for us, but we're going to give that as a bonus to all of our crypto, or all of the first initial launch of our students, the cryptocurrency, ultimate cryptocurrency students that decide to type their number in. Now, again, let me just recap, and I want to thank those that have typed their number. I want to encourage every person in this room, if you have not yet. I'm not asking you to bust out your credit card. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm asking for is a simple conversation. I'm asking you to take this serious enough to understand that this is a movement that I believe is going to revolutionize the way that you and I transact in the future. It is already changing the way that we transact as a company. Starting very soon, we are now going to be able to take your payments for your subscriptions or your courses through Bitcoin. Imagine that. I have personally started a petition within the company where I, as a subcontractor, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. Now, I'm not sure if that one's going to take off, but I'm not joking right now. I want to be first in line. If I'm able to get paid in Bitcoin, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. I'd rather be paid in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies than any other fiat currency, because guess what? I trust that more than I trust any government out there. So you're going to have the 4-hour class. You're going to have the crypto sessions, the mentoring. And ultimately, here's the deal. This is not something that you have to purchase and then wait around and be like, oh, man, I can't wait. I got to wait a month or two. No, this starts this Friday. This starts this Friday. Now, we got 2 options. And we created these 2 options. Now, we were going back and forth on whether we should create these 2 options or not, but I'm so happy we did, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to price anybody out. And I know some of you have small accounts, and that's another thing Kunal mentioned, is that this is perfect for people with small accounts, because you can trade those pairs that have explosive moves. And imagine if you would have caught the right pair today, you could turn $1,000 into $1,200 or $1,300 really fast if you catch the right move, if you know the right things to look at. But here's the deal. We have 2 options. If you can do the full thing, that's great. If you need a payment plan, we have Empowerment Savings. We're able to customize your payment plans for you. We're willing to work with everybody. We're not willing to work with everybody that's not a Market Trader Institute student. We're not willing to give the bonus to those that aren't the Market Trader Institute student. We're not going to continue to give the bonus after the Cyber Monday because we need to limit this. And not only that, but what I know is the price is going up substantially. After Cyber Monday, the price is going to the retail value of $49.95 from what I've heard. But if you type in your phone number in this session, okay, in this session, and you say, hey, set one of those seats aside for me. Let me have a conversation. Let's see what I could do to get with Kunal this Friday. Let's see what I could do to start this journey on this cryptocurrency trading. Creating short-term income every single day from things that are moving and then long-term wealth for my family. When you type in your phone number, we're going to set one of these aside for you out of the 50 that remain. You're also going to have access to those live trading and mentoring sessions, and then we're going to give you the crypto data feed from Smart Trader, which I am extremely excited about. Extremely excited about. Now, I've got to tell you guys, there's no other investment. I just want to say this real fast, just from my own standpoint, on a personal note. There is no other investment in the world right now as we speak more exciting than cryptocurrencies. But if you're going to involve yourself in the cryptocurrency world, then you better do yourself a favor and involve yourself with education first. Because this business is becoming more and more sophisticated, meaning more and more traders like myself and Kunal are starting to get involved. Kunal's been involved for a long time. I'm just starting to get involved, which means there's more and more very, very astute traders starting to get involved, which means that the easy money might be, for those that don't know what they're doing, it might not be that easy. You need to make sure you get education, because you have to learn the strategies, the patterns, and the things that work, the scanning techniques, and how to find the best plays. So here's what I want to do. Let's say that you are on the fence and you're not quite sure. That's fine. If you haven't typed your phone number in yet, I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you. I want to ask you right now to type in your phone number, have a conversation with your education specialist, see what we can do. Hey, John, hey, thanks. I've got your number. We'll make sure that your education specialist reaches out to you. Peter, hey, good to see you. I'm glad you typed your number in. I will say this. I'll end on this. If you and I had a one-on-one conversation, and let's say you said, Tyson, should I get this? I've been a trader for 4 years, and I've got lifetime charts. I've got a target. Now I went into the six-figure summit, and it's starting to finally click. But now you're telling me I need this cryptocurrency course, and I'd say yes. And the reason why is because we're talking about two different worlds here. We're talking about a world where if the currencies aren't moving, and over the weekends, why not focus on making money in the cryptos when the market's not moving in the currencies, right? Market doesn't move over the weekend in the currencies, that moves in the cryptos, so trade the cryptos over the weekend, and then think about this. Trade your currencies during the week, trade your cryptos on the weekend, and then set your long-term portfolios up with the crypto investments. That's the way to do it, my friends. So there isn't one person in here, not one person in here that shouldn't be typing their phone number in, because you've just gained 2 days of trading. As a professional trader, guess what? The only thing in my way from me making money is time and volatility. Those are the only two things that stop me from making money right now. Time and volatility. Guess what? I've just gained both of those with this class. I've gained more time to trade over the weekend, and I've gained higher volatility because these things move. Hopefully this is making some sense. You just gained time and volatility to make more money. This is absolutely huge. Hey, Patricia, thanks, got that. Edna, go ahead, type your phone number in, Edna. We'll make sure that we reach out to you. I see you want your education specialist to reach out to you. We'll make sure we reach out to you. John, thank you. Richard, thank you. George, thank you. All right, I'm going to end here. If you understand the concept as a professional trader, it's about having more time. I don't make money when I'm sleeping if I'm a day trader, right? I need to be awake and in front of my computer to take advantage of the opportunity. So I've now gained more time with the markets being open over weekend, and I need movement. There's nothing that moves more than the cryptos. Nothing. Nothing. And for the next probably 5, 10, 15 years, that's going to be the case because we are just starting this movement. It is huge. It's huge. Napoleon, thank you. Edina, thank you. Joan, thank you. George, I've got your number. Patricia, Richard. Everybody else, listen, we have 50 seats. I have no clue how many are going to be gone by the next webinar. Maybe all of them will be gone. If you want to secure one of those seats, go ahead, type your phone number in. We'll make sure we set one of those aside for you. And on that note, hey, listen, thank you to Kunal. Thank you to all of you. I am very excited for all of you on Friday. We're going to be off to the races, and you're going to start your amazing career in cryptocurrency trading. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great day.